Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Installment Scott Selections here for Friday, November 11th. For again today's play of the day, quick recap of what happened yesterday. We had a nice winner in basketball with the 76ers and Hawks under 222.5 and minus 110 on DraftKings. Really never in doubt. Both teams combined for less than 90 points in the first half. The Sixers we thought would be terrible offensively, and they were, and the game landed 199. Philly ended up shooting below 39% from the floor, shot 20% from three. Without Harden, the supporting cast is a train wreck, and I'm going to keep betting unders in their games. But either way, nice winner for us. Really, just a bad line by the sports books, and we took advantage. Look for another winner here on Friday. And for today's play, they're going to pivot and talk about some college football. Look at a matchup between Fresno State and UNLV taking place at around 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And for this matchup, we're going to take the road team in this one. We're going to take Fresno State minus 9.5 at minus 107 on Bet Online. Time recording of 2 a.m. Eastern Time. Couple reasons why I like Fresno State in the spot. First reason, look at the recent form. Fresno State has been a much better team, as Fresno State has won each of the last four games, while UNLV has lost each of the last four games. And a big reason why Fresno State has been really good lately has been the defense. And Fresno State's defense, which was awful to start the year, has picked it up, as it has allowed less than 14 points in three of its last four games. Meanwhile, UNLV's defense has been awful lately, as the Rebels have allowed at least 40 points in three of its last four games. So Fresno State does have the much better defense, and you can go through the overall numbers for UNLV's offense. They have not been that great either. Now, a big reason why UNLV did have a couple of games without its starting quarterback. Brumfield got hurt, and they were awful for a couple games because of it. However, he did come back last week against San Diego State, and he was really not that good. Went 17 of 27 for 207. However, he ended up having one touchdown and two picks. Did not look comfortable, and UNLV only scored 10 points. So I'm not sure Brumfield is still battling some injuries and he's just playing through it, or if he just had an off game. But either way, I do think against Fresno State's defense, he should have a bit of a hard time of avoiding turnovers. And UNLV has also been pretty underwhelming at protecting the quarterback, because UNLV is allowing 2.8 sacks per game against FBS competition, which ranks tied for 73rd in the nation. So a below average offensive line, and Fresno State's averaging 2.4 sacks per game against FBS competition, which ranks 42nd in the nation. So Fresno can get after the quarterback, and with Brumfield just coming back from injury and struggling in his first game back, I do think Fresno State might pressure him a bit in the pocket and make him a little bit antsy back there. But Fresno State, a big reason why this team also has won a couple games in a row, not just because of the defense, is because they did get back their star quarterback. You had Jake Kaner, who got hurt, and the backup came in for a couple games. He was brutal. They lost to UConn because of it, had a couple of underwhelming showings. However, he came back, and he's been really, really good in the two games he's come back for. Since returning, in a two-game sample size, he has 721 passing yards and 7 passing touchdowns. And for reference, UNLV can't really stop him, because last year he had 378 passing yards and 5 passing touchdowns against UNLV. So I do think that Fresno State should get whatever it wants offensively. The offensive numbers this season are a little bit skewed, because they were pretty underwhelming with the backup quarterback in the game. But they've scored at least 41 points in each of their they've scored at least 41 points in 2 of their last 3 games. Had 32 against San Diego State, the same San Diego State defense that held UNLV to just 10 points last week. So I do think Fresno State's offense is significantly better. Whiners a really, really good quarterback, probably the best quarterback in the conference. And I do think that Brumfield was a nice story early in the season. However, I do think he has been a little bit overvalued, and I think that you'll end up seeing a huge quarterback disparity play out in this game. Plus, to go through the actual numbers offensively with Hainer in the lineup, he's played 4 games, or I should say he's finished 4 games, because he got injured in the USC game. In those 4 games that he's finished, Fresno State has scored at least 32 points in each of those games. So I'm assuming Fresno State, team total of 35.5, probably going to walk into at least 34 in this game. And I'm not sure that UNLV will get to even 24 in this game. But Fresno State has been great offensively in the head-to-head, as Fresno State has scored at least 38 points in each of the last 4 meetings. It's pretty simple for me. Fresno State's defense has been very good lately, and the offense has been amazing with Hainer behind center all season long. I do think that if I'm expecting Fresno State to probably reach 35, I'm going to dare a team that only scored 10 points last week against San Diego State to really wake up offensively and put up at least 26. I don't see it. I think this game probably ends somewhere around 38-27, maybe 38-24. But 9.5 seems a little bit short for a team that's still competing for a conference title, while UNLV was very good to start the year, but is now below 500 like it usually is. I think there's a huge talent disparity, and I think it will play itself out over these 60 minutes. Play that once again here for Friday, November 11th is going to be on Fresno State, minus the 9.5 and minus 107 on Bet Online. Bye, everyone.